Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Whitewater Township Board of Trustees meeting. If I can have everybody please stand for a Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fiscal Officer Jim Brett, roll call, please.
Mr. Pope?
Here.
Mr. Shively?
Here.
And Mr. King?
Here. We need acceptance of the meeting minutes from November 11, 2024. If everybody had a chance to review them.
I did. I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope?
Yay.
Mr. Shively?
Yay.
Mr. King?
Yay. Also, the invoices from November 11.
I also looked at them. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope?
Yay.
Mr. Shively?
Yay.
Mr. King?
Yay. Sergeant May, you want to do your sheriff's report?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good
It only
evening.
took me 9 or 10 years to figure out the 6 o'clock time, so it's nice to be timely for the December meeting. All right, this is a reporting period for November of 2024. Had a hodgepodge of incidents, so let me take a deep breath first here. We had 5 theft offenses, 1 identity fraud, 1 criminal trespass, 1 criminal damaging, 1 criminal mischief, 1 aggravated burglary, which was a domestic-related circumstance. We had 1 felonious assault, that was a shooting down at Casey's. I'm sure you all are aware of that. 2 domestic violences, 3 assaults, 1 child endangering, 1 violation of protection order, 1 interference with custody, 1 aggravated menacing, 1 telecommunications harassment, 2 drug possession arrests, 1 failure to comply. That's basically somebody that doesn't stop for an emergency vehicle. 1 obstruction of official business. We had 1 stolen vehicle recovery, and just to go back, 1 of those thefts was an auto. I'm not sure whether recovery was one and the same. We had 11 aided case reports and 5 other non-criminal reports. So we did have an uptick. It was 42 total reports for last month, 33 of which were closed, only 9 active cases. That's pretty good. We had 34 taken in October, so for whatever reason, November was a little busier. Auto accidents were slightly down with 29. We had 31 in October, and calls for service also were down to a more normal level at 373. We had 420 in October. So a lot more reports, or not a lot more, but a fair amount more reports, but calls for service have dropped off. So December, I'm sure, will probably be a busy month with the holidays. We'll see what happens come next month. Is there anything for me?
Anybody got anything for Sergeant May?
I have nothing.
Nope. Merry Christmas to you, and
Merry Christmas to
hopefully
you all
you're
as
just
well.
gonna stick around, it looks like. And-
We intend to, yes, sir.
Thank
All right,
you.
Great. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Take care.
Okay, let me flip my page here. We don't have any public presentations or public requests. So let's go right into township reports. Chief, you want to do yours? You can. Willie will read it.
Oh, okay. If I have to, I will.
Right.
I better not have to.
He's got some things on there he needs to ask us.
He wants money.
Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, Chief?
Good. Our run totals for the month of, I should say November, not December, November 2024, 97 EMS details with 87 patients, 59 of those were transported, and 48 fire details for a monthly total of 145 details, bringing our run totals up to 1,013 EMS runs, 971 patients, 656 transports, 556 fire runs for a total of 1,569 runs for the year so far. And the way things are going, we will probably eclipse last year's total because it has been a busy December so far. Our staffing for the month of November, no station closures, and 100% of our shifts were covered with our Whitewater Township paramedics. If you're following the percentages, you'll probably see that the percentages have dropped on the above two due to some resignations and some other staffing changes. We have lost a few paramedics, so. But on the flip side, we're picking up some additional paramedics with the part-time hires that we're bringing in, so those numbers should kind of level off after the first of the year. And as always, we're still continuing to use WestJet for supplemental paramedic coverage. Full-time firefighter paramedic opening, we've completed the second round interviews. We're evaluating the candidates for selection of who will move on in the process, and should have that probably by the middle of this week. And our part-time staffing, as I said, we currently have 3 applicants moving into orientation with the on-duty crews. I have 2 other applicants still waiting for a physical agility test. And now I'm waiting on written test results from 2 applicants. I just had another one over the weekend reach out regarding part-time employment. As far as grants, our 2024 Assistance for Firefighters Grant application has been completed, and the grant writer is working on getting that submitted. The deadline to get that in is this Friday. The only other thing that I had on there, or that I did not have on there, was I sent over the part-time contract. We had our mediation meeting on Friday, and as you know, the mediation was over the wages, and essentially it was of the mediator's opinion, recommendation that we have an MOU in place, and that MOU should stand, and basically change the duration of the contract to expire when the MOU expires, so that way everything can be renegotiated accordingly. So that was the mediator's recommendation. That's what was sent over to you. That MOU was installed into the contract as Article 15. The part-time president and the business agent are taking it back to the membership for ratification. They'll have a vote sometime, maybe this week or next week. But that was all sent over to the board for approval. I'm not sure if you have any questions, want to discuss that, or if you're okay to approve that this evening or not.
I did not. I kind of liked it. I don't know if you guys had a chance to review it. It sounds like everything, kind of what we talked about before.
Yeah, the majority of the changes were language that really
Right.
didn't affect a whole lot.
Yeah. And Jason was good with everything, and
Yeah, he was, Peggy and Jason and myself, we all met, we were in the mediation on Friday. So yeah, like I said, I didn't have a clean copy, and I just basically sent you all of the changes that were affected in this negotiation period. It was 7 articles out of the 22 or however many they have.
what do
So
you need from us right now, Chief?
basically, we just need an approval from the board to accept the new contract.
I'll make that unless you,
No,
I'll
I'm
make
good.
the motion, and if you guys have any questions, I'll make the motion. We go ahead and accept and move forward contract as you sent over to us.
Okay.
Does
I will
everybody-
second that.
You okay with it?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Voice,
Would that be to allow the administrator to sign and the chief to sign that?
yes,
Okay.
yes, that's fine. And then voice vote when you're ready, Jim.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
All right, thank you. I will let Jason and the part-time union know that it was approved by the board tonight. Aside from Happy New Year, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone in the township, to the board. That's all I have. Just have a happy and safe New Year. Be careful out there.
Anybody got anything
questions?
for Chief?
I don't have anything.
I do not thank you for the 5th month in a row.
It might be 6. I might have to go back and look at the minutes.
Sounds even better.
You're doing a good job, chief.
Sorry, the New Year's right around the corner, just remember.
He's doing a good job of burying the cost in the budget.
Thank you, chief.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Okay, Josh, you want to come up and do your maintenance report?
Good evening.
Good evening, Josh.
Evening, John.
So I didn't have a report in the binder there, but
Yeah, you're fine.
I just want to let you know that I have looked into the international, where we had talked about buying, purchasing, looking at a new one. I don't have everything, but it looks like I may have it, I'm going to say probably middle of this week. It is on state contract, and that's good for a whole year. That's good for this time next year. The only issue is the building part of it is only 30 days. So I don't know if we can kind of get together, or I don't know, something, discuss what we need to do.
So we need to know something before our next meeting.
Like I said, I should have all that this week. He seemed like I would have it midweek.
Is this something we can do in that January, early January meeting?
Yeah, I did, because of the fire levy information I asked, and as long as I amend how we normally advertise our organizational meeting and do in any other business to come before the board, so we could do that at the January 6th
Okay.
organizational meeting.
Will that work
Yep.
for you?
Yep.
Gives-
Hopefully I can have all that. Like I said, I should have it the middle of this week.
Okay. So you got till January 6th, kind of gives you, because that won't last until our next meeting.
Right, right.
Just so FYI, the truck that he's looking at, and I've talked to him tonight about it some more, I bought 2 of them, equipped the same, without the bed, with a different bed, of course, but the cab and chassis, 2 years ago, I paid more than what the state price is now.
Okay.
So,
All right.
just so you know that,
One more thing, the CDBG, we are still moving forward. I know we were hoping to have that done this year. We went for the first year, but it was on their part that it got pushed back. So it's correct, we're going to be shooting for 25, correct, Peggy? And I'm just waiting on the vendors to fill out the final forms, get them back to me, so I can give it to Peggy, and then Peggy can get with CDBG. And that's pretty much all I have. Everything's ready for snow. Hopefully it don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's going to, so.
Yeah, I think you were out salting the other day or something, weren't you?
Yeah.
We
I
weren't
had
home, we just saw you on our camera.
4 different
going-
calls that night.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there was some slick spots here and there. so.
yeah,
We just put a dusting on it just to make sure everybody's safe.
I got you. All right.
That's all
Good
we
job.
have.
Anybody got anything for Josh?
Nope.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Josh. All right. Trustee Scheibler, you want to do community center?
There's not one in here, so.
There's not one in
I did
there?
not submit one this month.
Just tell them anybody's got any new ideas.
Yeah,
huh?
anybody's got new ideas?
Let
Call
us know.
Carolyn.
Community center's looking good, though.
Yep.
Okay, let's go on into our community reports. The water sewer, Jim, you got anything new on that?
I do, because of the Christmas holiday. Our meeting will be tomorrow night, the 3rd Tuesday of the month, here at 7 o'clock. So that's tomorrow, December 18th, 17th. I'm confused about what day it is. Tomorrow's the 17th. So, other than that, I don't really have anything to discuss other than the project moving along.
Are you going to attend that meeting?
Please?
Are you attending that meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Okay, anybody got anything for Jim on water sewer?
I do not.
I did see something from Denise Treehouse. I did not get a chance to read it. I don't know, it didn't have anything to do with,
No, I think that was the
okay.
county budget.
Overall,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
and
was
I
the
heard
county
about.
budget.
I was just making sure there was nothing in there on this.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I did not read it all the way.
Yeah,
through,
her and
but-
Alicia Reese put out real similar.
Yep, okay.
Yes. So the one thing that I am trying to do is, the money that they gave us, the $5 million up front, the county gets the interest back on that. And I'm trying to see if we can keep the interest on the interest. It doesn't sound like much, but Star Ohio's been making about 5% most of the year.
Okay.
So if I can keep the interest on the interest and only give them the simple interest, not the compound, that'll give us a little,
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Any little thing helps. We
Yeah.
need it.
yep.
Absolutely. The economic development, Jim, do you want to talk about anything? I know I was not in that meeting that you,
We did have a phone call with J.S. Held, the builder that was going to work with the cannabis, the adult use cannabis person for Miami Town. And they're looking at a different site. I just got an email from them, I think, Friday. They've got an option on a site. They need to get an option on the piece next to it. I'm going to put them in touch with the owner, and that may work in that whole little Miami Town 74 interchange project that you and I have been talking about. So I'll let you know more about that as it progresses. So.
I don't have anything else on economic development. You guys got any questions on that? It's just that dispensary down there. I mean, whatever we can do to make that happen, I
Yeah.
think we need to make it happen.
Right.
You know, if
Right.
we can have a part in it. The next one is We Thrive. I don't know,
We didn't really meet or do anything other than I just wanted to remind Josh, or ask Josh if you had a chance to talk to the county engineer's office about closing Sand Run on that day we discussed in April. Okay, all right, well, just as soon as we could hear, if we can ask him again, because Indiana wants to coincide with the Indiana side of state line and do it all at the same time, because that's a pretty littered up road, and we'd like to try to do that all the same day. So, just let me know.
anything else, trustee?
That's it.
Okay.
And I'll hit West Jad while I'm on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm on West Jad, we have our organizational meeting right after the first year. I don't remember exactly what day it is. It's that first Thursday in the first full week of
Right.
January,
Kind of
so.
like us, you got to get that in, yeah.
Yeah, so anyhow, that's, we'll have a meeting then, so.
Okay.
Nothing else to report.
And I'm assuming solid waste, nothing? Good
Nothing.
news?
That's good
Good
news.
news. I'm just going to write good news on the solid
Yeah, it's
waste.
been quiet over there. That's a good thing.
Trustee Shipley's killing it on that one.
Yeah, make it easy.
You're doing a good job
Yeah.
keeping them down.
They're scared of me, I guess.
Let's go into our old business. We have the part-time firefighters contract, which we have already
Already
approved and moved forward. Chief, you don't have anything else on that we need to do? So we went ahead and took care of that when the chief was here. The next one is the police contract with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. And I know this is a big one because we're not the only ones involved in this. It's make sure I'm saying it right, the Northwest contract, which includes Crosby and Harrison Township. And you guys just correct me if I'm saying something wrong. And I know this contract has been out earlier and then, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I know we need to open this up for discussion.
Right,
about-
I've read this contract through multiple times.
Is this something we should do here, or we don't need to move to?
We can do it here, or if you think you might want to call Brian Pacheco, we could do it as imminent legal, because if we don't sign it, we're going to lose our
Right.
coverage, so.
And, you know, I've read this through and through, and like Trustee Shibley said, and it concerned me, it shows that they can increase billing if the wages go up, or buying a car, and all that's worded in there, but under terms of payments and
Can you
Article 4.2.
tell me where you're at, so you're
Article
You're-
4.2.
Article 4.
It's in the, in the new or,
The first part you said is under Article 4.
no, the first part I said was under Article 2. Is that correct, trustee? Yeah, it's under Article 2 in 2.1, where we're responsible for the beats and in 2.3 monthly of billing, that by an hourly rate, it's showing all the hourly rates and everything. The way I read it is that's what it would be at the full rate, but in the Article 4.2, it's showing the reduced amounts that they will bill us for these 3-year contract. And if that is the way I read that is correct, and I believe Brian Pacheco confirmed that that is correct, that's the payments are as in Article 4.2. If that is the case, I would be willing to proceed with this, however, with the stipulation it could not exceed the amounts in the payment schedule of Article 4.2.
I
So,
wouldn't,
you go ahead. No, you go right ahead. I was just going to jump on
so first off,
2.2.
first and foremost, the main thing is, for me, we don't have the money. I know we're counting on money coming down the road. We don't have the money. I'm more concerned about the fire department right now. If we had the money, I love the police. I wish we could have more police. I love them. I think they deserve more. I think they deserve more police on the street. But we don't get to control that. If we were on the county commissioners or we were somewhere higher up to where we control what the sheriff would get, then it would be a different story. We got to work with what they give us. That's the main thing for me. It's nothing to do against anybody else.
With the discussion I had with Jim, we have the money for the 2025 and 2026, given things go as they have been, without getting into reserves. 2027, the increased amount, we would probably get into reserves a little bit, which I don't want to do, but I feel the need to move forward with a police contract.
Well, let me
But
finish.
this is an ended contract. If this was an open contract where it was continuing on, I would definitely be against it because Guy's right, we don't have the continued funding for this.
Here's my problem, now, let me finish real quick.
Okay.
Now, I've consulted with some people that know legal contracts. The problem I have with the contract that I have here is it says right here, the Northwest District acknowledges that the estimate provided, which is this over here, under this agreement are intended to assist the Northwest District in budgeting and shall in no way limit the control amount of expenses billed to and due from the township. The sheriff and the Northwest District shall periodically review the sheriff's actual expense incurred as of such date. If the sheriff believes that the estimated price, it's over here, is expenses stated in the agreement, which is this agreement, may be exceeded, the sheriff shall provide the Northwest District with a revised estimate, raising this, of the expenses for the Northwest District to review and approve, which shall not be unreasonably withheld. Which means, when they come back and they say, hey, we missed this, and it's actually costing us more, it says right here, to not be unreasonably withheld, which means we have to pay what they say. And then as you go down further, liability occurs, rates, deputies, fourth exhibit, this hourly rate, that's Northwest District acknowledges that the estimated provided under this agreement are intended for assist in the Northwest District in budgeting, and shall in no way limit the sheriff from recovering expenses associated with the providing police protection services under this agreement. Once again, if it goes up, this agreement does not limit it. It says it can go up. The costs associated with the departments payable to the Northwest District shall be subject to annual changes in the collective bargaining, that's normal. Down here, follow terms and Where's the one about the cars? The Northwest District and the Sheriff Office agree to the following terms to establish clear financial and operational funds patrol, financial and operational for the patrol vehicles purchased. The Northwest District shall reimburse the sheriffs for future purchases of patrol vehicles, which the sheriff office will own, use exclusively in the Northwest District. The Northwest District shall be responsible for all fuel, parts. The sheriff shall be responsible for the vehicle maintenance, repairs. So that also says, when they need a new car, we got to pay for it. Now, I had somebody else look at this that looks at contracts. I know this is legal and it's all legit, and I know they looked at it, but I'm not saying this isn't legit. I think this covers their butt, that this does not mean that that's what it's going to be for 3 years. That it does not. I would like to talk to Brian and say, Brian, does this, the way this reads right here, does that mean this number right here, these three numbers will not go up? Because you only got 120 days to get out of it. After the 120 days, you're stuck for the rest of the 3 years. After 120 days, they can come back and re-look it over from what I read in here and what I was told, and they can raise that price and come back, and all of a sudden, instead of it being $83,000 a year, they can say, hey, it's $130,000 a year. Or they could come back, which I'm sure they can't come back and all of a sudden say, oh, it's $1 million. It went from 80 to $1 million. But I bet they could come back and say it went from 80 to 120. Or the next year go, okay, now it's not 120, it's going to be 180. And then the last year, they can come back and say, oh, it's going to be 380.
Well, that's why I worded that I would approve it not to exceed the amounts listed in that schedule of 4.2.
That's, I've talked to them.
And that's where I believe we can let Jim fill in here.
I'm glad you read it, because I have highlighted 2.2, and I just have highlighted the last sentence there, if the sheriff believes, right there it starts.
I talked to him, when we talked about this last time, I told him.
That's the issue I have, is
Right.
where the last full sentence in 2.2 kind of tips the scales for, that's the only thing I highlighted, because I knew everything else was going to follow about the adjustments happening on. I know it happens to us, and
When I talked to him last time, this is exactly what I told them last time. I said, I need to know what it's going to be at the end of 5 years. They were talking about a 5-year layout last time. And I said, I need to know what it's going to be on the 5th year. We can't give you that exact number. I said, well, then how am I supposed to put a levy on? How am I supposed to come up with the money? How am I supposed to tell you that I can pay this at the end when it's not a concrete? And to me, this is another, they're doing it again. It's the same thing. I want to help them. And if they said, it is going to be this price and that's it, at the end of it, I'd say, hey, let's see if we can work with the money. And if Jim said we had the money, I'd give it to him. But
here's a question I have, and I know you have been working on this, and Jim, so you guys are a little bit further along on this than what I'm just reading this. I have a question. So where is Crosby Township and Harrison Township on this? Are they voting before January 1st like us to pay this? Or?
Crosby has signed something a while back.
So Crosby,
Harrison has not.
Crosby
And
is-
Harrison's dragging it, according to what I've been told, Harrison's kind of dragging her feet, waiting on us.
The one thing that I was told regarding Harrison's position is, for instance, for the West District, which is Miami Township, Cleves, North Bend, Addiston, if one of those entities dropped out, or for instance, Addiston was trying to save their police department, if Addiston didn't participate in the contract, then the other entities had to pick up that cost. What they told me was they will honor this price, whether Harrison Township joins or not. So we won't get stuck with the Harrison Township portion split between us and Crosby.
But what happens when they come back and they say, hey, we reassessed it, and since Harrison isn't
Yeah,
in
that would be
there, now all of a
my
sudden we gotta raise it because Harrison isn't in
Yeah.
there, and you guys have to pay it.
That would
because
be
you
my
signed it through.
concern.
I'm not saying I don't wanna do it, that's what I'm saying, that's why I'm pretty passionate about it, if you can hear it in my voice.
And
I'm
if-
very passionate. We need to know exactly what it's gonna cost. That's that.
If they would come back, and as Harrison's out, if they come back and say that, if we sign, they come back on this agreement, not only on, if they find out it's more, Jim, they're gonna make somebody absorb that Harrison Township of the $41,000, and we're already responsible for 53%, so you figure that's gonna be another 13 off of their 26, so
Yeah, I would not.
we're at
Yeah, I-
65%.
The only way.
41,000 is what we're gonna have to pick
Right.
up.
The only way I would vote for this is if our totals were not to exceed what it says for Whitewater Township in this table. Obviously, tonight, we're not going anywhere with this, so I make a proposal, we table this until our next public meeting, which will be the organizational meeting, and get more information gathered up and revisit it then.
I just want to say one thing about, if you look back at your past contracts, and it's your guys' decision, but I've been through this with Miami Township as well. If you recall, the original cost was 25% of the 3 cars, then 50%, then 75, then 100, in that order. We got them basically,
25, 25, and
we got them
50.
to spread those out because of the levy situation in Miami Township. Well, once they did it for Miami Township, then I said to the county administration office, well, if you did it for Miami Township, why don't you do it for the west side? And they were kind of like, oh, well, yeah, I guess if we did it for them, we got to do it for you. I don't know that they'll hold those rates. That's why I'm recommending this, and let me tell you that the cost is going to go up because we are going to pay for gas. We are going to pay for repairs, parts for the cars. So we're going to pay for that. They've told me that they will not bill us for a car until we get past year 3.
Why is that not in the
But-
contract, though? Why does it say that we could have to buy a car before the 3 years?
Well, keep in mind this originally started out as a 5-year contract. And
But this is the new one that they just sent us.
I
This
know.
is why I turned it down
Oh.
when they sent it again. If
So-
they want to write that in there, that we will not be responsible for a car for 3 years, that helps. Or if they would write in here and say, hey, this is the exact price, it's not going up from there at all for 3 years, then that gives us a number to shoot for.
now the other thing that, and this is just what they're telling me, don't shoot the messenger. What you see in Exhibit B are the costs that they include. So if, the one good thing, and don't take this wrong, Purple, they did renew the contract with the deputies, so we don't have to worry about that increase. And that's one of the reasons that you see this higher. I don't know what the exact increase was, but that's reflected. And the other things that they would raise are in Exhibit B. If their hospitalization insurance goes way up, they're going to pass that cost along. If, uniform double, if their cost for, what else goes bad in 3 years? How long's the vest good for? If they have to buy new equipment for the folks, then they're going to split that up and we're going to have to cover that. But I don't see a huge amount. And in the time that I was at Cleves, I never saw any increase. And in checking back at Miami Township, other than when there was a labor change or a huge change, typically in the past, and just typically, I'm not saying they won't, and they do have the right, but that's not the way they've operated.
I'm just saying, so the next time we get together, if they want us to move forward with this, I will not, it's just me personally, maybe it's how I do things in my life. I will not personally myself vote for this and sign anything that does not say this is what it's going to cost. If they don't lock this in and make it say that it's not going to be no more than this, no matter what, this is what we're going to have to pay, and this is what we're getting for that. They need to lay it out like that, and then we can look and see where we're going to come up with the money, because we don't have the money. We need to start looking about that. But I need an exact number. I mean, how do you plan for, I would never in my personal life sign any legal agreement, a 3-year agreement with somebody, and they said, hey, we'll just let you know the price as it goes along. I'm just not that guy. I mean, I guess you could fight them in court and try to, but that's not me. To me, my dad always taught me it should be in writing. And if they say, sure, they can say, we're not going to bill you, somebody can say, we're not going to bill you for a car until after the 3rd year. But right here it says that they can. So put that in writing. Put it, instead of saying they can, put it in writing that says, we will not bill you for a car for 3 years.
So they want something approved and signed off on by January 1st. How long does it take us if we had, I'm just saying if we had to have a meeting before January 1st, we got 2 weeks.
Technically 24 hours.
Can this be fixed in 2 weeks? If not, we're into January.
So,
I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. We got 2 weeks before, the Monday, 2 weeks from today would be New Year's Eve.
so let me just ask you this, because Miami Township asked for a change, and they said we'd rather do a separate contract, was dealing with flock cameras, which is how they actually caught the guy that shot the person over on East Miami River Road, was with a Green Township flock camera. They wanted to add those into the contract, and they said if they make changes to this, it has to go back through the prosecutor's office. I have no idea how long that
It
takes.
takes a long time.
So,
That's not a quick process, so yeah.
so,
Prosecutors will have to do it because they got a big changeover coming as well.
yeah. So I can ask them if they can add that in for Guy? Yeah, we will supply the cars for the first 3 years. And,
That would be the best we could do.
I'm just personally, it's a waste of time for me. You guys don't need me. You two could vote for it and leave me out of it. Unless they lock this in on an exact price, and I want to know what it's going to cost me. I want to know that the first year it's $83,000, the second year it's $88,000, and the third year is $185,000. And they're not going to pull service out and say, well, we're going to get the full service. This is what, I don't care. If they come back and say, listen, okay, Guy, we're going to have to change this up then. This is going to have to be 90 for the first year. It's going to have to be 110 for the next year. And it's going to have to be 190 or 200,000 for the third year. I would still look at it then. Then I have exact prices, even if it's more.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact
I
that
agree.
the way this is written,
Yeah.
because I'm a man of my word. If I sign this contract, I truly want to pay them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of townships that would just sign it, and then if they don't have the money, they just say, hey, we don't have the money. I'm not that, I don't want to do that. I don't want to agree to something unless I feel like it can hold up my end of the deal. And I need to know an exact price. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be,
No, Guy, Trustee Shibley, I do agree with you. And also, I know we're looking at, do we have the money? We're saying yes for the first 2 years, but do we really have the money?
well, we got to keep the fire department going.
Well, the fire department for me is going to come first.
Well, that's
So
it,
I
because
mean,
I lay in
it's
bed and
that
think
simple.
about it at
We're
night.
not-
If I'm laying here having a heart attack, I can't help myself. If somebody's trying to break in my house, I can somewhat take care of some stuff
And I'm going to be
myself.
honest with you, I do not see it.
We're going nowhere, let's move on.
So-
We're going nowhere,
So,
we're
Jim,
repeating
if you want to
ourselves.
look at it and send it back out, we got 2 weeks before January 1st. Other than that, we'll just have to table this till, if you want to put it on the list for January 6th, we can do that, since it sounds like we're going to have a meeting anyway to discuss things for our maintenance department. Yeah,
okay.
it's a tough
So,
one.
Can we get an official motion and second to table it?
I'll make a motion that we readdress this at our next possible moment.
I'll second it.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope?
Yay.
Mr. Shively?
Yay.
And Mr. King.
Yay. All right.
The next one's going to be easier.
Well, I hope. That's okay, it's good.
Yeah,
That's what we're here for.
that's right.
Anybody else got anything under old business? Okay, let's go into new business. We have Resolution 2424. That's the resolution to set the 2025 temporary appropriations. We need an actual date for that, right?
No, this would just be.
Oh, that's just,
Our
yeah,
temporary appropriations
Yep.
so that we can spend money until we
Yeah.
approve the permanent
Yeah.
appropriations, which I'll have ready on January 6th. Ideally, do we have a payroll in between there, Peggy?
I'm sorry.
We have a payroll between the 1st and the 6th. So.
No.
We have to do this or we can't pay any bills. So, but ideally, Peggy and I try to get this all together and have you approve the permanent appropriations at that organizational meeting, because then we only have to enter it into the UAN system once. Otherwise, we have to do it twice, so.
This is a very short and simple resolution. I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2024-24.
I'll second it.
voice vote, please.
Mr. Poe,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay. Okay, next one we have on here is,
I've got the number on.
the
25.
next resolution,
We'll
we're just
raise-
going to table that until the January 6th meeting, correct?
Yes.
That will be tabled to 1/6/25. The January 6th meeting will be at what time?
4 o'clock.
So everybody knows here, and Jim, that'll be advertised, right?
Right.
Since we're actually going to have a meeting and that'll be up, we might as well do that up here, right?
We typically do it
You
back
wanna-
there, but since we're going to act on other things, we
I
should
think,
probably do
I
it
think if we're
here.
going to act on other things, we'd probably be here in case,
Okay.
you know, yeah. So we'll just do that up here instead of in the back. Okay, any public comments? Anybody got any public comments? This is a lot longer meeting on a Christmas event than I wanted it to be.
Sorry.
No, that's okay, you're good. No, glad you.
That's the way it
So,
goes.
No executive session. Comments from the board? Just that's our reminder of the organizational meeting. Anybody got any other comments?
I just want to thank everybody for a very well-run year, especially Chief, through a couple very traumatic things that ended up going very smoothly, and thank the other members of the board for a good year. And with that, I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
Wait, I have one other thing I want to throw in. You probably noticed on the door on the way in, the Township Records Commission will be meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 here at this office. So, Records Commission consists of the board president and the fiscal officer, and we'll be reviewing where we're at with our records retention program. So anyone's welcome to attend that. Usually takes about 15 minutes. So just wanted to throw that in there. Now, Willie.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Voice vote, please.
Yay.
Mr. Shively?
Yay.
And Mr. King?
Yay. Meeting is adjourned.